And we're live. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining the show. I'm Ray. Say hi, Dan.
Hi, Dan.
And that's Dan. And both of us are real estate agents. I'm in Arkansas. Dan is in LA, so we span the globe if you go the right direction. Lots of news stories and lots of fun stuff to cover today. We're going to get into a new AI bot that's write property listing descriptions for everyone. And no, it's not ChatGPT, but I have used ChatGPT for that. We're also talking about the inventory. That's kind of the big ticket item on the show today. We have several headlines to cover. There's a shortage of inventory around the country. It may be worse than people think. So our question is this the end of the real estate market this year? Are we going to be able to recover because people have nothing to buy?
Zero. Nothing to buy.
That's right. So I'm Ray. Say hi, Dan.
Hi, Dan.
We already did that, right?
Yeah. Hey, before we get into it real quick, Ray, if you guys don't know, Ray lives in a little town called Little Rock, Arkansas. And I don't know if you've heard, but, and I didn't know this, maybe.
Was it not on the news?
It was a big deal. It was on the news. Everyone talked about it, and everyone, there's lots of news stories about it, but I didn't know that you guys were prone to this sort of thing happening, but Ray was hit by a tornado.
Yeah, almost direct hit, about a quarter mile from our house. It decimated a large portion of the city. And you say prone to.
Is that a thing in Arkansas?
Well, so the state itself, so the whole state, which is a pretty large mass, has about 39 tornadoes a year. Last year we hit the average right on the head. And then we have around 2 deaths per year per tornado, or per year. Yeah. So it's not like it's not a normal occurrence. Now in my city specifically, we're on a bit of a hill. So it's even more rare that my specific city would have any kind of tornado come through. So it was interesting. It formed the exact right place at the exact right time to move through a pretty large size portion of the city. I'm actually working on mapping it out. There were lots and lots of houses destroyed, 600 casualties. Earlier reports said 11 people had passed away, but I think only 5. I think some of those were double reports. So, but yeah, not a good week last week.
Crazy stuff. So all of a sudden, you're used to seeing Ray's, either he's made a new cake or he's got some new real estate listing or something like that. And all of a sudden you just see just destruction throughout his neighborhood, and it was really intense. So we're happy that you're okay. And
I guess maybe I should have warmed up the social media platform a little bit instead of going straight from like happy-go-lucky to tornado and destruction.
It did. It went right. But I mean, what can you do? It happened. It's a thing that happened, and that's kind of what social media is for. And he was getting limited service, so he was just getting out what he could and communicating that he's okay and his family's okay. Yeah,
we are doing a fundraiser. A lot of folks from around the country have reached out, which I really appreciate you guys that were kind of reaching out and asking how you can help and stuff. A lot of folks around the country have asked to reach out how you can help. One of the ways is a local food bank here called Arkansas Food Bank. It was started by the rice farmers. Another tidbit of information you may not know about Arkansas is that we are the capital of rice in the world. Yeah. So the local rice farmers started something called the food bank years ago to give some of their leftover product to those in need. And they started raising money, and it became a whole thing. So now it's a big food bank that does a lot more than rice.
A whole thing. It became a whole it's a whole thing. And now there's
They actually joined recently. They merged with the Feeding America Food Bank. So they're going to be feeding people way after the chainsaws, way after people are getting stuff off of other people's houses, way after the insurance claims and the contractors. There's going to be a ton of people that are still displaced without food. And so I'm directing as much effort as possible to the Arkansas Food Bank. So you can go to my Instagram, and there's actually a post on there. It's a reel. And I think I can every post from now on until the end of it, I can just add the fundraiser to it. So it's kind of cool. But my goal is to get $10,000 to them. And we're already at 1,000 from last night. So if you guys don't mind taking a second, just hitting the Instagram, it's Razorback, RAYZORBACK. Take just a second of your time. Be sure to give to them. There's also a link in my link tree that says tornado relief. So if you want to get more involved, or if you're local, click on that. And there's 2 specific organizations that are basically at ground zero of where it hit. And they are charities and relief organizations. And they have set up crisis centers, and they're coordinating the cleanup effort and all this stuff. So I was stunned by how quickly everyone was like all hands on deck. Let's get this place cleaned up. Let's go. It was pretty fascinating because I've never experienced one that close. Well, I used to live in Saline County, and we would like sit on my porch and watch tornadoes go
Just
down the
fly
interstate. Yeah. And it was like, it's not a big deal because, you kind of know where they're going to go and you see them go by. And we would rather have that. I will say the wind speeds of a average tornado, like the EF3 is what we had, is the worst hurricane wind speed. The difference is it's not sustained. So that tornado ripped through our city in about 10 minutes and was massive amount of destruction, but it moves so fast. Just boom, it goes right through. Yeah. Whereas a hurricane will like sit on you for days. And so it's obviously way different. And also the area impacted is less, which is better.
That's what I was going to ask. It's like a path, right? It kind of takes the path.
Yeah. Actually, I have that on my computer. No, I've been doing mapping and trying to figure out the areas impacted. And here's a pro tip. We did a mastermind call with our brokerage, Real Broker, yesterday. And Tim was like, any good tips out there? I was like, well, here's something I learned. Take your client. If you're a real estate agent, lender, anyone in the real estate business, and you often deal with people buying and selling properties, maybe an investor, take all of your addresses and who they are and put them in a Google spreadsheet. Then use a map like mymaps.google.com to reference that spreadsheet and map out where your people are. So we have been doing this for a couple of years, and that really quickly allowed us to check on the properties and the people that were in the path of the storm. So
you overlay them kind of.
Yeah. Yeah. You could just look and say, okay, here's where my people are. I'm going to call those people first. And we're still finding out about a couple others that are kind of on the outskirts that have had trees fall and stuff. But just as a, check this out. For the audio listeners, I just showed the Twister thumbnail. I don't know how many shows ago this was, but we were talking about housing being like a natural disaster. And it's got the Twister album cover, I guess a DVD cover. It's got the cow flying in the background with the tornado down. And then I am the guy in Twister, and Dan is who's the lady that played
Helen Hunt?
Helen Hunt.
Yeah.
So there's that. There's bring back some memories there.
They're interesting because that's a real picture that Ray and I took, and then put on the cover of Twister. So
yeah,
that was a real picture of Ray and I holding each other.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, we were the originators of that whole thing.
Right.
I'm trying to figure out how to. Apparently, I can't share. I was trying to share a video so you guys could see what some of this looks like. But just go check the Instagram, I guess. That's going to be the easiest because I can't figure out. Oh, there it is. Window. Haha. Huzzah. So I'm not going to share audio on this, I hope, because I want to be able to talk over it. All right. I'll just share with you guys a couple of images from the storm here because it's pretty wild.
Crazy.
There you go. So this is what it looked like on day one. And then day two.
That one shot, you could totally see the path.
Oh, yeah. I've got a drone shot that's looking back at it. And you could see exactly where it goes through the city. It's pretty wild.
That is amazing. Yeah. Ashley Wakefield, by the way, on Clubhouse. And if you guys don't know, if you're on Clubhouse, you can comment so we can read those, or you can just come on live with us. But Ashley Wakefield says, absolutely feel for you guys. We here in Joplin completely understand what you guys are going through, and I will definitely spread the word for your fundraiser. So I
remember that, Joplin. That was a bad deal.
Yeah. We had a...
Hey, Ray.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's Jack. How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you, Jack?
I'm okay. It's one thing when you see stuff on the news, and it's another thing when you live through it. But in the middle, you brought a lot of people a lot closer to it, just by knowing that your proximity to all of this and everything that you've been putting out. I've always been impressed with you guys and people like you who constantly give back, but you're really hit home You'll be getting a donation from me, but you'll also be getting a share from me. And I just wanted to throw it out there for everybody on the call. I didn't know if you guys were going to be able to come on this week, but here you are again doing good things and giving back. But everybody should share that reel, because the link at the end is really what's needed on the ground. So my heart's with you, man. Thank you.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. And yeah, that reel took way too long for me to edit on that side. Just on the, but I felt like it was really important because I wanted to share the story. And I didn't want to just share the story of all the destruction, because I think that's only part of what's happening. And the reality is, I talked to one of my friends from my church, and I was like, hey, what do we need? And he said, to be completely honest, give money somewhere else. I said, what? And he said, we've taken care of our people. We are taking care of it. We're good. And here's a couple of other places to give. So that's been really cool. But yeah, I appreciate you sharing that. There's some way I'm new to the fundraising thing on Instagram, but there's some way where you can support it, and it also adds it to your own profile, which is cool. So I don't know how all that works, but that's a neat.
Awesome. I will add, now that you're talking about it, I will add, we've got the Boston Marathon coming up
nice.
on Monday, and it's the 10-year anniversary from the bombing. And it's sad that a disaster like that and what you guys are going through is what pulls us together. But with all the rock throwing in the world today, it makes you. It's sad to say that it makes you feel good when something like this happens and bands us all together. It's a little bit of a conundrum, but
no one was going up to those houses and saying, "Hey, are you a Republican or a Democrat? I see you have a tree on your house. Do you want me to remove?"
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Hey, I know you have a tree on your house right now, but if you lean the wrong way, I'm not going to help you.
Yeah.
That's right.
Are you leaning the opposite side of this tree? Because I'm not going to help.
Are you Guns N' Roses or Grateful Dead?
There you go. Yeah. That's fine.
Because if you're Grateful Dead, sorry, that tree's looking really heavy.
That tree's looking real heavy.
Hey, man, look at that tree.
Well, thanks again for sharing. And you guys can do that. You can donate. You could also share it to your profile. You can share it to your stories, and that's a big help to get the word out. So, well, we are kind of back, and Dan was like, do you want to do it this week? I'm like, yeah, having a little bit of something normal happening is actually very comforting. So I tried to attend a couple of masterminds this week, and doing this is going to be great before we get back out there this afternoon. So without further ado,
just Matt is just the best. We have 100 comments already, and 98 of them are from Matt. It's awesome.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Hey, Matt. Matt says he is first on YouTube, so let's give him the credit where credit is due. He likes the banter. He's really loving the banter.
And he's the first on. He creates the banter. He is the banter at this point. He's also on LinkedIn.
Living in Carrollton, Ohio. What's your real name? Carrollton, Ohio. She said, Matt LaMarche, how many energy drinks have you had today? How many energy drinks have you had?
Plot twist. Her real name is living in Carrollton, Ohio.
Oh, I got it. She is Carrollton, Ohio.
Yeah.
Let's see. Matt's also on LinkedIn. He's making his rounds. So welcome away around town. Making it.
That's Vanessa Carlton. Yeah.
Yeah.
That one on the piano.
That's the one.
Maybe
we should change I need to change the bumper music to that.
Yeah.
All right. So what's going on with inventory? We've been reporting that it looks like the housing market is picking up. I know we talked about it last week, how we were getting multiple offers on homes, and we just listed another one this weekend that has a lot of offers, and we have the final call for 3:00 today. All right. So more home sellers are sitting out of the spring housing market. It might seem like a great time to sell your home. Buyers are flooding back into the market. Mortgage rates have fallen from their recent highs, but they're still far off from new home demand. Wait, hang on. Let me. I just skipped like words that are just because. Let me just take out half the sentence. All right, buyers are flooding into the market. Buyers are flooding into the market. Mortgage rates have fallen from the recent highs, and there are still far too few homes to meet demand. But potential sellers aren't budging. New listings have continued to fall in March, according to Realtor.com. It's down 20% from the same month a year ago. That decline in new listings outpaced the 16% drop posted in February. New listings in March were nearly 30% below pre-pandy levels. So I think that's the most significant stat, is that new listings in March were 30% below pre-pandy levels.
Yeah, not a year ago.
That's right.
This is 2019. There's another article we're going to read that has that similar stat from 2019.
Now, this was an interesting stat as well. The active inventory of homes for sale is, however, 60% higher than the start of last spring, but that's only because homes are taking longer to sell. Inventory is also half of what it was at the start of the spring 2019 before the COVID pandy, which caused such an unprecedented run in housing. So homes are now sitting on the market at an average of 54 days, up from the average of 36 days at the start of last spring. You want me to give you a stat that'll blow your mind? Do you know your average days on market in your town, Dan?
Yeah, it's just over 30 right now.
That's the average, or is that the median?
Average.
Okay. Average days on market for Little Rock are 84.
Oof.
The median is 42.
So, well, that's just the middle one.
That's just the middle one, but still, that means that you have most of the houses, I guess, are kind of on that long or short side of the, stat.
That means there's still a good chunk under 42, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me find my way back to the article, see if there's there was a quote on here, I thought. No, it must be in a different article. Oh, yeah, it is. Danielle Hale, chief economist of Realtor.com, says amid fewer home choices on the market and still rising home prices, home shoppers have shown that they're very rate sensitive, only jumping back into the market when rates dip. So what happens with rates this spring will likely play a strong role in determining whether the housing market bumps along or picks up speed this year. And that is really interesting because previously, we'd talked about the rate differentiations being so vital with refis, and how it seemed that home sellers or home buyers were ignoring that, but they are a lot more rate sensitive now, which is
now they're
an
very
interesting
rate
twist.
sensitive. But what's the constant though? The consistent thing that's happening here. So rates are going up and down. Buyers are jumping in and out of the market. Inventory continually stays low though.
Wait. Adam Johnson said, did you guys see the garbage article from the National Association of Realtors saying the inventory was up last month?
I don't think I saw that one. I was on their website today looking for articles. They never have anything good.
They've really gone down on the actual housing news production. It's way down. It's now like, here are 3 things that Sally used to score a big listing.
Right. Or
are you riding with the brand? Here is the latest stop on the Riding with the Brand tour.
Yeah.
I feel like I could do the just read their articles in that, and they would probably be like, this is good. Let's put this out there.
It would be great because then we'd be promoting the brand, right? We'd be riding with the brand, but there's nothing there's no motorcycle to ride.
Adam, I need some stats. You show me this in a stat. He says in most areas right now it's cheaper to rent than it is to buy the median price home. That's not the case in our area still. And rents have gone up drastically in our area, but that's why. It's not because prices have gone down. And then he agrees. He says, yeah, and everyone's like, what the hey is a realtor? All right. Well, Dan, you've got an article about the lack of listings, right, Daniel?
I do. I'm actually impressed that the internet's holding up right now, Ray. So this is really impressive. I like it. The lack of home listings is taking a toll on mortgage demand. This is from CNBC. So mortgage rates fell last week, but demand for home loans didn't move higher as a result. Other aspects of today's housing market are outweighing the benefit of lower mortgage rates right now, namely a lack of supply. The average contract interest rate for a 30-year fixed mortgage with conforming loan balances decreased to 6.4% from 6.45% with a 20% down payment. And it was just over 7% just about a month ago. So that's a good sign that they're dipping back down. Mortgage applications to purchase a home, however, dropped 4% for the week, which I guess it's that's not a big number, but that's a telling number because things are so rate sensitive right now. They dropped 4% last week compared with the previous week, according to the Mortgage Bankers Association's seasonally adjusted index. Demand was 35% lower than the same week 1 year ago. This is a quote from Mike Fratt and Tony. Oh, sorry, his last name is Fratt and Tony. Spring has arrived, but the housing market is missing the customary burst in listings and purchase activity that typically mark the season. After 4 weeks of increasing purchase application activity, volume declined a bit this week, even with another small drop in mortgage rates. New listings were down 20% year over year in March, according to Realtor.com, and total inventory was about half of what it was in March 29, the pre-COVID pandemic. So that's referencing the last article. So, we can say it over and over and over again, right? We need things that are going to help us. And there is an article coming up that kind of touches on it, but we need, incentives or something to boost our inventory because we're so low. And the other thing I wanted to mention is that you're still going to see lots and lots and lots of gotcha posts and bubble boys and all this stuff about inventory exploding, right? Inventory is exploding.
Right.
Here comes the market crash. Here comes the crash, right? It's coming. And that might be the case in smaller markets or specific markets around the country, just because inventory is always volatile in those cities or those areas. But nationally, we're still lower than when the Rona hit 4 years ago. So,
yeah, and it seems like there's no one that has a solution for it. I mean, the solution is to build more homes, but the builders aren't building homes in the price ranges at which most people need them to be built to satisfy the inventory demand.
Which we have coming up, yeah.
All right, well, we have another article about the housing affordability here. So a real estate giant makes a prediction over the housing affordability squeeze. And it's a friend of the show, RE/MAX CEO, Nick Bailey. He's been on the show before, for those of you that are like, what is this? What is this crappy little rundown news show? No, we're a big deal. We've had a lot of big guests.
We're so big, we don't have those guests on anymore.
Right. They're too small for us. As U.S. home prices show signs of cooling and the Fed continues an aggressive rate hike campaign, and one of America's largest real estate groups is signaling market affordability will continue to pressure home buyers this year. Nick says the affordability has recently been a hot topic, and if people are going to have a chance at better affordability, we need more product out there. We're not going to see anytime soon with new construction. Even though the U.S. home prices fell for the 7th month in a row, 0.6% from December to January, mortgage rates have dampened consumer demand. The Federal Reserve has remained focused on its inflation goals, lifting the benchmark of the federal funds rate 9 consecutive times. Interest rate mortgage rates are likely to be bouncing up and down. Nick goes on. It's like we're on first, Bailey goes on.
Like we know him.
The journalists always use the last name, which, as someone with the last name of Ellen, I never really liked, because it was like my ginger changed halfway through the article.
It's just people calling me Ludwig. It's fine.
Ellen. Let's see. Bailey says, we always have to keep in mind that mortgage rates are based on the 10-year treasury and that they can fluctuate differently in the short term. So what it means to buyers is rates are going to bounce around, we believe. Then they have been over the last couple of quarters, and we believe that they will continue as the year progresses. So he doesn't see any return to stability as far as the rates go. National Association of Home Builders CEO Jerry Howard affirmed this trend, telling Fox the uptick in demand is what the industry was expecting this spring. Okay. Yeah, I mean, we did talk about that and anticipate that it would increase in demand, but I mean, there's still no solve right now for the main issue of inventory.
Right, and it's not a new issue. I mean, we've been talking about this since things heated up in 2020, and we've been talking about it before. We've been talking about it
the end of 2019. We were talking about it. Wasn't so
Yeah, we've been talking
2020
about.
was the start of the pandy, right? All my years are running together
Yeah.
because I've just been in one room for like 3 years now.
Right.
Okay, so if that happened at the beginning of 2020, at the end of 2019, that's when we were talking about the 13% increase in housing starts, and we were all excited about it. And then that went out the window for 2 years. So
Yeah.
here we are.
Yeah.
But luckily, I think California has the right idea. I mean, they know if there's one place that knows how to add inventory to the market, it's California.
We're actually doing pretty well in some spots, but overall, a luxury real estate tax on already overpriced, ballooned priced homes. I mean, come on.
Sell.
Yeah, we covered this last week, or maybe it was it last week? I don't remember. But we've covered this, and it was before the whatever you want to call it, the measure took place. It took effect. It took effect on April 1st, which is kind of
funny,
ironic. It took effect on April Fool's Day. But now here's a response to it, and there's been a ton of responses to it. So the first article that we covered a week or two ago, whatever that was Josh Altman, who we all know. He's a big real estate agent in LA. So this guy's name, he started the agency. His name's what is his first name? Mauricio Umansky. So he's the CEO of and founder of the agency. So he says, there's a luxury real estate, there's a rush to offload properties before the mansion tax hits. And that's kind of what Altman was saying, is that all of February and March was just this mad rush, closing deals that shouldn't even close. Sellers were offering Bugattis. Sellers were offering, Vantages, which is a high-end car. Who is the, I can't remember who it is. It's anyway, but I mean, crazy things to get these houses closed. So after extraordinary buyer and seller friendlies during the month of March, one of the biggest names in Los Angeles real estate has warned the market has already taken a turn for the worst in the early days of LA's quote unquote mansion tax. So to avoid being subject to these taxes, LA area home buyers and sellers rushed to close multi-million-dollar deals and offload properties. But now Umansky claimed fewer people are buying, selling, or even exploring a property move. I mean, it's not a slowdown. It all happened on one day. So it's like, if I didn't get it closed before then, well, I'm not going to sell my house now. I mean, it's so he says it's already going to slow down the housing market a lot more in Los Angeles than it already is. And it's already slow here, especially for those luxury markets. Over the last months, we've been looking at a huge rush to try to get people to sell. We actually had an extraordinary March, a lot of high-end homes sold. And right now, the pipeline going forward is really, really low and really gleam. The agency, the co-founder said, he was on The Bottom Line, which is a Fox Business. I guess he was on there I think it was the same show that Altman was on. As for the measure, he says the entire public really voted on a proposition that wasn't even fully thought out. It was so poorly written. Most people don't even know about it. When he's talking to his sellers, or he says, when I'm talking to my clients about it, they can't even believe where it came from. They don't understand it, and they don't know how it got on the ballot. And it's a real mess. So as a reminder, this is homes sold between 5 and 10 million get a 4% sales tax or transfer tax. I didn't realize that part, the transfer tax. And then homes sold over 10 million will face a 5.5% tax. Ooh, that's crazy.
That's a lot. I mean, that. So in response to that, though, you had people like Marky Mark, also known as Mark Wahlberg, listing his home.
He dropped 8 million or something. Yeah. He dropped 8 million the list price trying to get it sold. I don't think it sold.
It didn't. Oh, I thought it did. I thought it went under contract just in time.
Maybe it did. Now, yeah. What I don't know is if it went under contract before, does it count, or did it have to close before? I think it had to close before.
I'll call him. We'll see. I'll get the details.
Let me know what he thinks. I know his older brother, but I don't know Marky.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So this is from Altman, and I kind of combined two articles here because one was from last week after the last show. It was before the measure passed. I wanted to cover the more recent one, but I thought there was some interesting stuff in here. So he says they're throwing in everything. I mean, they're throwing in crazy incentives to try to sell the house. They're throwing in Bentleys, I mean, private trips, any incentives, $1 million bonuses to agents. I mean, they're throwing in anything they could to try to get these closed. Now, also, the other article didn't mention this. So back in December, lawyers representing the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association and the Apartment Association of Greater Los Angeles filed a lawsuit to block the tax officially known as Measure ULA. They said it violates the state constitution. So in 2016, the city brought in 1.6 billion with a B in with a bond issue. They thought that would build 12,000 units. Now here's where it gets really interesting. They managed to finish around 4,000 units, and the price went straight up. Some of these quote unquote affordable units now cost $800,000.
Wow.
So not only, and this was my issue with it. Why this is, the whole steal from the rich, give to the poor thing, I guess, but
Robin Hood.
Why institute this measure and this taxes on people that, I mean, and the article also does state you have to pay this. Like, what if you're underwater on your home? What if you over leveraged yourself? You have to pay it no matter what.
Or
you have to
or
pay
not
it no
sell.
matter what. Or not sell, which it's just going to absolutely decimate that market. And the other thing is there was 1.6 billion raised. And it was obviously fumbled. They built a third of the homes that they said they were going to, and now those homes are all worth $800,000. That's ridiculous. So what are they going to do with all this? It's ridiculous.
Well, it's a perfect segue into our next topic because we have seen a huge incline. I almost timed that right. I didn't quite time it right, but we have seen a huge incline in home prices. So articles from CNBC, they say home prices suddenly jump after several months of declines. Unexpectedly strong home sales at the start of this year. Not unexpectedly if you watch our show. But anyway, unexpectedly strong home prices at the start of this year reversed a sharp several month decline in home prices. Mortgage rates are behind the swing. Prices nationally rose 0.16% in February when seasonally adjusted, according to Black Knight. That's the strongest 1 month gain since May of last year. Home prices are now 2.6% below their peak in last June. Yeah, Lawrence Yun, the chief economist at the National Association of Realtors, said that home price variability would start to decrease and that it would start to go up. Home prices would continue to go up by the end of the year, just not much. In December and January, however, mortgage rates began pulling back. Home buyers were quick to take advantage. They closed sales of existing homes in February, which represented contracts signed in December and January, shot a remarkable high 14.5% number, which we covered last week. Conscious of changing mortgage rates, home buyers are taking advantage of rate decline, said Lawrence Yun. This is where the other article we covered earlier today talks about the rate sensitivity of home buyers, which is unique. The unfortunate reality is that the scarce supply of inventory is the source of the much market of the. I'm just gonna do that again. The unfortunate reality is that the scarce source of. The unfortunate reality is that the scarce supply of inventory that's the source of so much market gridlock isn't getting any better. That's just, I wouldn't say the sentence in that order. It's my brain.
Sometimes things are written weird.
And my brain kept trying to reorder it in a way I would say it, but then it wouldn't be a quote. And that was a quote by Andy Walden, Black Knight's vice president of enterprise and research. Number of homes available in February fell for the fifth straight month to the lowest level since May of last year, which we were just talking about. Walden said, while home prices increased most notably in Miami, which saw the largest of the month, they could be chalked up to people moving into the area. We're seeing stronger price gains and in more generally those with affordability and larger inventory deficits. So in areas with more affordability and larger inventory deficits, they're seeing more sales and price increases. That makes sense. That's called economics.
That is called economics. By the way, I'm not going to mention anyone specific, but I love when people come at California and literally say things like
No, Meechin.
destroy the whole state. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. I really do. I really appreciate it. I live here. I'm from here.
Wait.
If you don't like it, don't talk about it. If you don't like it, don't talk about it.
Who said that?
Just stop, dude. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Who said that?
Absolutely ridiculous. But
I
whatever.
don't see. I can't find it. I was gonna put the quote
It's fine. Dude, we have an output of $3 trillion a year, but it's cool. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Keep talking about California. It's fine. It's fucking ridiculous, dude.
Pete, wait. I gotta edit that later. That's gonna put us in a different category of show.
I honestly don't care.
I care a
can't
little
stand
bit
it, dude.
because the
Anyway.
viewers.
But anyway.
Is it you or me?
But yeah. Huh?
Is it you or me?
I think it's my turn, but Matt makes a good point. He's like, or Melissa said it back here that he did sell it. Mark sold his house. $32 million price cut, Matt says.
Wow.
And then Matt's like, I'm going to send that to every seller that won't take $5,000 off on their $500K house.
Let me tell you about how negotiations sometimes work.
Hey, so guess what Marky Mark had to do?
Yeah, there you go.
He had to drop it 32 million. All I'm asking for is 5K,
man.
So, yeah. I think it's me. I don't know where my stories went. There they are.
Oh, you got it.
I don't have it. Oh yeah, we do.
Oh yeah, we do.
Is it
You're back
it
on the
US
luxury?
cities
Yeah,
are filling?
you're back on the
Yeah,
luxury.
yeah.
This is an interesting story too, because we're talking about the changes in the
Yeah.
luxury market in the Cali, but there's also this urban infill movement that started years before the COVID, then halted, and now apparently is continuing in a very bougie way.
And I was surprised by this one. I didn't. Look, where did you go, Ray? There you are. Okay, cool. 100 windows, and I can't find. I keep all my
I'm here
windows
for you,
together.
Dan.
Thanks, buddy. But this one was a little surprising to me because we've been, like we just said, on previous articles, we've been talking about a lack of inventory, and I've been shouting about it. We need some sort of incentives for sellers. Then obviously we need to help builders, which it's helped a little bit in the multifamily here in California, what they're doing for multifamily housing home builders. But also what it's done is it's people are building onto their own lots, and they're adding ADUs so they can just stay in their house longer, which is then affecting inventory. It's not helping people sell and buy the bigger or smaller home. But this article says U.S. cities are filling up with luxury apartments despite quote unquote housing recession. So scores of luxury homes are coming to major cities across the United States. Analysts at Yardi Matrix projected that more than 400,000 units were completed in 2022. That's a big number, right? That surprised me. That's a big number. And they expect another strong showing in 2023. Experts believe much of this new stock is built with upper tier customers in mind, which is not where we need inventory. This is a quote from Ethan Handelman. He's Deputy Assistant Secretary at the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. He says, you often see new housing branded as quote unquote luxury, in part because it's new. When you get to affordable housing, we need to be providing some additional capital or rental assistance to help make that housing affordable to people who need it most. So at least it's being addressed, I guess, is the thought behind that. I mean, it's being talked about, but is it being addressed? Here, I'll ask it that way. But market rate rents for new apartments can easily be multiple thousands of dollars monthly. For many high wage earners in cities, this is achievable. But for moderate income Americans, the sky high prices appear disconnected from reality. And then this is from Dominic Mulden. He's a resource organizer at Organizing Neighborhood Equity DC. He says the marketplace is structured not to house certain people. We need to admit that. Article goes on to say builders say the high cost of housing in the U.S. is related to a large amount of regulation and housing in the housing sector. For example, they say many U.S. cities are short on land due to restrictive zoning codes. Currently, 40% of the cost of multifamily development is in regulation. That's from Sharon Wilson Gino. She's the president of the National Multifamily Housing Council. I didn't know that was a thing. And she says, we have to do something about that if we're going to build more housing. And then the article finishes with, in 2022, the Biden administration announced a housing action plan that aims to shore up housing supply within 5 years. That's a long time from now. But these
It's just a normal ebb and flow of the market by then.
Right. But these efforts may not have material impact on prices for some time, because you got
or at all ever.
Well, the article starts off with, there was 400,000 units built in 2022, but they all fit into the quote unquote luxury or upper tier of the market. We don't need that.
It is amazing. Currently, 40% of the cost of multifamily development is in regulation. I wonder what she means by that, but that's a wild amount. Surely she doesn't mean like every product that is put into the home in order to be in code is considered part of that cost, but because you should do things right anyway, if it's code or not code. But that's wild. Well, I want to get to something juicy.
Hey guys.
Yeah. Who's this? Sorry.
Hi.
Hang on. Wait. Oh, hey Jack. How's it going?
I try not to talk too much, but I have a problem. I was talking to an affordable housing developer that mostly works out of Boston. We were talking about this the other day, where cities don't get much older than Boston, and we were talking about sort of pre-pandy, when the surrounding communities to the city were being gentrified, and then all of a sudden the pandy hits and everybody sort of pushes out of the cities and puts more pressure on getting rid of the blue collar rings that usually surround big cities.
Oh, interesting.
And then everybody sort of moves back in, but you still have the absorption in the ring cities, if you will, in the metro areas. So, I mean, it's nice to know that the pandy has brought additional awareness to the lack of housing in all regards, but I don't know how you solve it in cities with everything that's going on. The dream would be as if we could take over some of these empty commercial buildings, but what he told me is that they're too wide to put. You have to have a window in every bedroom.
Yep.
And plumbing and all that stuff. So it's been.
Then you have to change code and regulations.
Yeah, it's been building up for a long time, sadly, and this is the end result. So
I know what they should do. They should put an AI generated window in there that actually shows you the exterior view of the property,
but it's still the wall.
You have an interior wall.
Or it's the Matrix, right? And you jump out the.
Yeah, there you go. It's just like the Matrix. Let's see. There's a couple of quotes. Let's see. Dusty, she said, yeah, we have a ton. Most are attached to many multi-use districts, like small city block, high-end shopping and dining, but upstairs is luxury apartments, very few condos that anyone can own.
Right, because there's luxury above there.
It's the layering, lobbying, and zoning constraints at the most. I can go on for years before a developer gets approval. Ugh. And then she says to actually make it worth it, they have to increase the price, and to make the price acceptable, they have to use higher end products. Yeah, and then it's the endless roller coaster of going up and up and up. It's look at that. Alleviate says, in good news, I have a deal going through for 84 subsidized apartments in my market after 2.5 years. Wait, that is your deal, or it is a deal going through? Like, do you get paid? That's a good deal. So I think part of the reason, let's take Jackson Hole, Wyoming, for example. It became a hot spot for wealthy people and for short-term rentals that are high end. And it became so popular that many of the people that had to work in Jackson Hole couldn't afford to live in Jackson Hole. And so a lot of the people were complaining about it, and we're like, well, I can't live in the town I work. I don't make enough money to live in the town I work.
Right.
And I have to commute there. It's not worth it. I'm not going to work there anymore. And there were businesses that had to shut down because they couldn't find the labor. Well, now this is backwards.
You're not going to drive an hour and a half to work in Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
Right. Had the business owner, in my opinion, had a little more thought, they could have probably increased the level of service. They could have maybe made it a little bit nicer, paid your people a little more, make that commute worth it.
Yeah.
And then suddenly you have a different target market for your hole in the wall restaurant that everyone loves there and would have paid triple what they were paying because they're all wealthy people.
Yeah.
It's just it's probably not even an exact replica of what's happening or accurate representation, 100% representation of what's happening. But that kind of thing has been happening for years in the urban markets. And this is what we talked about, 4 years ago, when we were talking about urban infill being a thing. We're like, well, that's going to make prices in the urban areas more expensive, make it harder for the people that work in the urban areas to live there. I think it's all just going to be borne out by the market. I mean, you have places now, China is not the market. China is government. So if the government gets control of it, then you're going to have something like in China where you have 30,000 people living in one apartment complex. Think about that. 30,000 people living in one complex.
Well, that's kind of what Adam says. He said, my city is putting up 77 subsidized units at the cost of $22 million. These aren't homes. This is one apartment building.
Yep.
Yeah. And then like Jack says, like infrastructure, people, teachers, municipal workers, all that stuff. And I wonder how this is going to affect, not to go too broad stroke on this, but all those little cities that we've talked about on the show quite a bit. When you flee cities from California, or when you flee California and you go to these, we mentioned one specific one. We had Krista on, right? And there's small cities that all of a sudden they're booming and people are overpaying for houses and paying all this money for houses. What's that doing to the local economy there? Even if the people do stay, but if they don't stay, what happens to the local economy?
That's when you cash out, man. Cash out and keep moving. One of the reasons you live there is because it's a small little town. It's no longer a small town. It's growing. So cash out and move.
But what happens to all those little businesses, kind of how you mentioned in Jackson Hole?
You have to adjust. It's the nature of capitalism. You have to adjust. If you don't, you're a bad business owner. Just like real estate agents in this market, if they don't adjust to what's going on, if they don't know how to do a FaceTime showing, see you later. You're not going to make it. All right. Sorry. I could get on a soapbox for that. What's up, Ronnie? Haven't seen you in a while. Mike, you guys joining us in the Clubhouse chat. Peggy, Ashley, what's up, y'all? All right. Let's go to... let's talk about something juicy. We haven't had a juicy story like this in a long time. It's a mystery. On Inman, the ouster of Residential Real Estate Council president raises questions. Hang on. Wait. Hang on. Here.
Wait.
The Residential Real Estate Council removed...
I don't want to make this sound bad, Ray, but you looked exactly. Do you remember early days of memes? The groundhog that would turn around with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you looked just like that.
I should just do that then. Hang on.
Yeah, you got to turn around. About it. There you go.
That's about it. All right. The real estate, for the audio listeners, I reenacted the old meme. I tried to be bouncy just like he was too. I don't know if I got it though. All right. The Residential Real Estate Council removed Pam Ruggiero, Ruggeroli, from her position for reasons the trade group will not disclose, prompting an outpouring of support for the ousted president. What? The president of the National Association of Realtors affiliate has been ousted under circumstances shrouded in mystery. The board of directors, Pam Ruggiero, was removed from her position as president of the trade group last week, according to the statement posted on her private Facebook group, We Are CRS. That's the name of the group. That's not what she posted, I think.
No, it's different. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a name. That's the name of the Facebook group.
Yeah.
So it says the trade group's website crashed over the weekend and has not been restored as of Tuesday afternoon. Really?
There's a lot of sketchy details surrounding this.
I spoke at the, I think it was the Residential Real Estate Council. Is that the people that do the yeah, they do the CRA. I spoke for one of their things. I'm going to go and see if it is not. Okay. So it's available now. And there's no, I'm going to do some investigative journalism.
Live on air.
Press room. Oh, the press room. The press room website has crashed. The press room is not working.
On their website, though?
Yeah. That's interesting. They have the press room button and it's just like loading and nothing's happening and it's not giving you any information. Well, that's interesting. Okay, so here's RRC countered several of the statements were made in her post. Where's the post? It doesn't have the post. It just says RRC, which runs the Facebook group, has conferred the Central Residential Specialist designation. More than 34,000 agents, has 28,000 members. Okay, all the stats and stuff. Do you see the post in the article? I don't see the post.
There was two posts. There's her post, and then there's the response to the post from RRC.
Okay. So Pam's version, in her statement, she said that she didn't know the reasons behind her removal and that the organization had asked her to lie and say she had resigned.
Yeah. Then the organization is like, nah.
On March 27th, I received a letter from Tricia Neek stating the board voted today to remove you as officer of the Residential Real Estate Counselor effective 5 p.m. Removal as an officer will end your board service. The letter did not give a reason why. The letter went on to say the board is open to using a reason provided by you in the announcement within reason.
Okay, wait. Now skip down to
Yeah. Here, I'm going to add you to this. This is let me read this again.
Yeah, this one's really interesting.
You're fired, and if you want, you can tell us the reason.
But keep it to 2 words. It's got to be 2 words or less. This isn't some personal statement you have to go off on. They literally say that.
Did they say it's got to be 2? The board is open to using a reason provided by you in the announcement within reason. For example, you may ask RRC to state that you resigned for personal, family, or business reasons. We ask that you limit the reason to a word or 2.
Yeah.
This will not be an opportunity for a personal statement.
Remember, though, this is her version.
She said, I refuse to lie to our members. I have never have, and I never will. I did not resign.
Okay, now go to their version.
That's crazy. I mean, so much drama with a licensing thing, like a certification, all the CRS people out there with it on their business card have no idea this is going on. So I am able to discuss what's transpired, but she was unaware of exactly what happened. She said in her later statement, a lot of it transpired behind my back, secret meetings with the leadership, special meetings. I have retained legal counsel. Will do my best to challenge the board's decision. The news has affected her personally. Of course, it's affected her personally. Even just the headline, even just this headline, Ouster of Residential Real Estate Council president raises questions. She's removed for reasons the trade group will not disclose. That sounds it sounds terrible, but apparently she's not at fault for anything. What I'm able to tell you is that I've done nothing wrong. I do not deserve this. We should have got her on the show.
I know.
I have not violated RRC's bylaws, policies, procedures, manuals. This situation has taken a personal toll on me. All right, what were you saying, Dan? Sorry, I interrupted you.
We just found this. We were scrolling through articles and found it minutes before we started the show. And I was like, are we interested in this? And he's like, yeah, it's juicy. I mean, keep going. Have you gotten to
it's good TV.
Go to post their statement, their version.
And so
there you go. I stand with Pam.
I stand with Pam. I just put that in the comments there so you guys know if you want to support Pam. No, we're gonna go full on support of Pam.
Okay, well then
wait. Who said that some members said they would cancel their membership or demand their dues be refunded.
Mm-hmm.
That's throwing a lot of weight behind one person. We know your ethics, values, and intentions for one supporter. Thank you for explaining what happened and how we need to hear from the supposedly member-driven organization. Whoa, what had happened? Sorry. This is a tornado rips through your town and you look for little pieces of drama that are not that.
Right. I know, especially when you're reading it and you're like, it's really not that bad. Like,
RRC's version. I mean, to the grand scheme of everything that's happened, she was sitting board president and they removed her for some reason. We'll figure out let's just figure out the reason. Calm down, everybody. But no, let's not actually. Okay, let's make a hashtag.
But wait. Yeah, I stand with Pam. Hashtag I stand with Pam. But now.
Okay. So on Monday afternoon, RRC released a statement saying that Ruggerio's removal was unanimous decision from the board of directors and intentionally not announced immediately to give her time to consider the decision and the opportunity to resign.
So they're like, dude, we gave you plenty of time. You knew this was coming.
Yeah. Unfortunately, some members have interpreted the board's decision as not being transparent, which was never their intent. The board has an obligation to protect the confidential information of its members, staff, third parties. This follow-up message related Q&As are in response to misinformation. Misinformation police has been circulated and a sincere effort to be transparent as possible regarding the process while respecting the privacy of those involved. RC, though, said there were no secret meetings, but rather a decision was made during an executive session of a properly called meeting.
Right.
And Miss Ruggerio was present with her legal counsel.
They say she was, so she's like, I didn't know this was coming. This is a surprise and a shock, and I'm shocked by this. And they're like, no, dude, you were there with your lawyer,
with your attorney, and gave her every and a witness and addressed the board and as she and her legal counsel desired. It must be a high paid position.
Is it paid? She's a board member. Is it paid?
It must be. I mean, to go through all this rigmarole for volunteer work, that seems like a lot.
That's kind of what I was thinking. I'm like, if it's, but she seems committed, and she's like, I would never lie to the people.
I'm not going to name names, but I was asked to be on the board of something, and I joined it. And their whole purpose of having me on the board was to help them with the social media outreach video, which I was more than happy to do. And it was an organization I'm involved with, but I'm not like, it's not like a charity. It's kind of not for profit, but it's not like a charity. Anyway, I was going to help them, get the word out. And so the first meeting happened. I'm like, okay, guys, I'd like to get into the Facebook and Instagram and stuff. What are the logins so I can go in there, check it out, see what DMs are there, figure out what we're doing, see what ads we're buying. They're like, oh, no. You can't have any login information. I'm like, well, how am I supposed to help you post on your behalf and create stories and all this stuff? It's like, no, we hired someone who will be posting. You just have to tell them what to do. And I said, so I work with a media consultant, and that media consultant is the one that inputs the information. Okay, that's doable. I can come up with a plan, give it to the media consultant. They can put it through there. They're like, no. It's going to be the secretary who answers the phones and sends emails. She's the one with the login. I have to go through her with everything.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, okay. What formal training does she have in marketing and social media? And
I mean, she answers lots of phones. She has an Instagram page.
Yeah, that's basically what they said. Well, she's on Instagram. There's no formal training. Okay. No formal training. Basically a person that answers the phones. I don't want to say secretary disparagingly because I love mine, but it's not her job. And I have to tell her what to post as if it was me. Okay. As if it was this organization. All right, let's give it a whirl.
Okay. Let's see how this works.
So I'm like, okay, here's some stuff you got to post. And here's the timing of it and all this other stuff. And she was like, great, I'll get this approved. I'm like, awesome.
Now you have to get it approved.
And I don't see anything at all posted for days. I'm like, hey, where's this stuff we were supposed to get out? Because we have this thing coming up. They're like, well, they want to make some changes. So I'm working on I was like, no, don't make any changes. You want me on the board to help do this. Don't make any changes. It's all very strategic in how it's worded and how it looks. Right. It's all perfect and it's compliant. Trust me. They're like, well, they didn't like this color or that. I'm like, oh gosh. Okay. So I tried this for like a year. And then every meeting, it was a once a month meeting. I would come in and I would say, here's the strategy we should do. Here's what we're doing now. why isn't this being done right? Like every time I was just holding them accountable to their own standard that they wanted to raise the bar. We want to raise the bar. Here's what we want to do. Here's where we want to go. Like, great. Here's what you have to do to get there. Like, great. We're in. Hold us to that. I'm like, yes, let's go. And then every month, like, okay, here's the standard. Here's where you are. Here's the standard. Here's where you are. Here's the standard. Here's where you are. These are the problems. They're like, why aren't more people coming to the meetings? Because they don't know about the meetings because you have to go through 10 approvals in order to post something about the meeting. Why are we like, I'm telling them everything every week. And then finally, after a year of my 2-year stint on the board, they come to me and say, you don't have to stay another year. And I said, okay,
All right.
I will resign my position on the board. And that was it. I was done. Paid $0 to do that.
But you
and
had a liaison that was also an office administrator. I mean,
So, and this is my thinking. Like if she's in this situation where she's been asking them to do stuff, they're not doing so, asking them to do stuff. And they're like, hey, we all voted and we don't like your style and you're not paid anything. You'd go like, okay, see you guys later. I'll go find somewhere else. I'm resigning.
Right. Like, was I supposed to go? No. I don't want to leave. I want to stay.
Yeah. But... Bye, Felicia. How'd you know her name? Well, no, I'm kidding. It wasn't Felicia.
Really weird.
So anyway, back to the story. So RRC's version says
it's the opposite.
She was there at the meeting with her attorney and a witness. No limitations were placed on her counsel. She was then, by a properly approved motion, recused from deliberations because the matter concerned her actions and she had a conflict of interest in its resolution. In other words,
so
you can't vote on your own actions.
Yeah. Well, the presidents usually don't vote.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
When I was the president of our local softball league, our recreational softball league, I didn't. You're just kind of a figurehead. You don't vote on anything.
Obviously,
you can put things into motion. You can propose things, but you don't.
Obviously, I didn't make it that far in my journey on boards, Dan. So I wouldn't know what a president of a board does because I couldn't even be a proper member.
Yeah, you didn't even meet the president. You had to deal with your secretary.
No limitations were placed. Okay. The board then deliberated the matter fully and unanimously decided to make a change in leadership was the best interest of the council. She was fully informed of why the action was taken. It was offered the courtesy to resign before it took effect to help shape public announcement of the transition, neither of which she chose to do. Okay. But her choice remains firm in this position that it's not appropriate for the board to share the details of the impetus for this decision, given the involvement of the council's staff and non-members. As such, there will be no additional statements at this time regarding the reasoning behind its actions.
But wait, what about the fact that they say, or she said she wasn't there and it was a secret meeting, but she was given plenty of time, brought her attorney and brought her a witness.
This is crazy. It's like
so is this misinformation? Is this all misinformation? Who's right? They're literally saying two different things.
I mean, I got to fix this now. What is it? Hang on.
Misinformation.
There you go. Hashtag I stand with RRC.
Yeah, see, there you go. Now so like Adam said, you stand with Pam, but you have no idea why she got fired.
Or you stand with RRC and have no idea why they fired her.
But you don't know why they fired her. You don't know which one's right or wrong. But I stand with them. I stand with RRC and Pam.
So some of what I've learned about English and corporate culture is that you can kind of read between some lines. And the lines that I'm reading between here are the privacy concerns of someone, a staff member or someone else there on the board. Did you see that?
Yes.
Whenever this kind of, I mean, it's sad to say, whenever this kind of thing is a dude, you just are going to assume that there was an inappropriate relationship with someone in the office.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe that was it. I want to give equality, right? I don't want to make a judgment call because of how she identifies.
Yeah.
But where did it say? Given the involvement of council staff and non-members. What was it? That's the corporate code.
I don't know if this is going to be another
That's the corporate code that everyone has to decipher. But usually when organizations like this say, we're not going to make any additional statements, they're not going to make any additional statements. Now, what's interesting is if she is very emboldened by it, then these reasons will come out in court.
Yeah, she keeps posting on social media with all her "I stand with lamp" posts.
So what I think she's going to do is take it as far as she can go without going to court. But she's got to be careful because our RRC company is a body, and you can sue for defamation. So if she says a bunch of stuff she shouldn't be saying,
and then what's her goal? To get a settlement or to get her job back? What's her goal here?
Save face, but no. If she was going to save face, she would just retired.
Right, but who knew about this lady? Is everyone watching and listening? Were they like, I know who she is? I had no idea who she was.
Look at the comments on the story. There are 3. So, I mean, this is a big deal.
But this is from a smaller website, right?
Inman.
Ray, can we move on?
I guess.
Because I really need to know people's thoughts on
this. Let's just hit the next ones real quick. Because then we gotta go. But yeah, we can keep up this charade. Pam.
Pam. We can just keep this up if you want, Pam. It's so condescending. Okay, so this seems like a joke to me, Ray, and I'm going to rip through it quick. But just the name alone, RESTB.AI, resting B, like RBF, like it immediately seems like a troll, but apparently not. But apparently, AI tech that writes property descriptions from listing photos. My first question, Ray, is: do they properly use the word boast at the right time? That's my whole.
Yes,
it has to have.
I guarantee that it uses boasts.
All right, so I'll just nutshell it for you. So RESTB.AI, which is a really silly name, just launched its AI-powered property description technology, making it easier than ever for U.S. and Canadian. So Olivier, you're good. Real estate agents to automate the creation of detailed and error-free property listing descriptions. Okay, well, it wouldn't matter if Ray is still a member of that board; he'd still have to run it through the secretary. And nope, it's not just another name or another look for Chat GPT. RESTB, they had to mention Chat GPT in there, didn't they? RESTB.AI has been the leader in AI, in this AI-powered tech for over half a decade, generating more than 100,000 reliable, accurate, and richly detailed property descriptions for its global client base. Okay, so how does it work? It uses blah, blah, and then it takes blah, blah, and it looks at pictures.
Whoa. What? Say again.
Sorry. It uses natural language processing and LLM, which is large language models, to create it, but it takes it a step farther. For one, it uses AI-powered computer vision, which gathers information from images you upload, detecting over 300 property-specific and relevant details to use in the listing description. In other words, you don't have to feed RESTB.AI property description a long list of written type details on the property, which is kind of a shot at Chat GPT. So who is it available to? It's available to MLSs, MLS vendors, portals, and brokerages. RESTB.AI integrates with a number of third-party APIs to provide visual insight on listed properties to enhance their descriptions. I think this is totally pointless.
I like it.
Of course you do.
Then you can just take the photos and put them in a folder, and the listing property description is written. The part I hate about real estate is writing your property description.
That's one of my favorite things. I love doing it. I get pretty creative with mine. I love it.
See, Michelle agrees. There's only so many ways I can say plenty of countertop and cabinet space. It's just like the same freaking word every house.
You tell a story behind it. You don't do this
laundry and emptying the dishwasher. It's painful.
Thank you, Michelle. Michelle agrees.
You're welcome, Ray.
Yeah, I love it. It's a time to be a writer and time to be creative, but maybe most real estate agents aren't.
I love writing and I love being creative, but every time I look at a property listing description, I'm like, It's
All I'm
got
thinking
wood
is,
floors. It's got
and
a big
sunrises.
window, tons of natural light.
Enjoy
What does it
happy
boast,
hour
Ray?
What?
on the lanai. Enjoy happy hour on the lanai. You can see the
Oh
sunrise.
my gosh,
Drink your
yes.
coffee in the
See, it's the same
morning.
thing. It's the same
Ugh.
words.
After a
Everything.
long day at work,
Wanna
come
vomit.
relax in your fluffy pillows in your
Oh my gosh.
in your expansive the family room.
Well, AI has been a game changer with that.
I do. I
Wonderful.
see. I love my ChatGPT for that.
Oh my God, I just
Pointless.
wrote
Anyway.
an 18-page social media guide.
So, okay, be careful though, because you got to double check everything in there. You got to be great editors for AI. If you don't do it, then you're going to be okay, good.
It wasn't overly complicated.
All right. Well, speaking of growth of new technologies, we also have some rare growth in the new and upcoming brokerage space, which Ryan Serhant's brokerage kicks off national expansion into. Oh wait, sorry, wait, hang on. Just switch those. No, wait, hang on. I'm gonna redo it. Hang on, let me go back to the. Sorry, it's like I'm on drugs, but I'm not really. It's just been tiring.
It's a lot going on.
A lot going on. But remember that, Dan. I want you to remember that. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of ChatGPT taking jobs, Vacasa's in trouble. Vacasa to shut down real estate brokerage services in Q2. Vacasa's vacation home management company is offering off to a challenging start this year with an increase in homeowners leaving the platform. Vacasa has also laid off 1,500 employees since October, and now the company is closing down its real estate brokerage division, which will go into effect June 1st. To be honest, I didn't know they had a brokerage division. I thought they were only a property management division. But along with mass layoffs, Vacasa's real estate brokerage division will be shutting down. The shareholder letter stated Vacasa will be, quote, winding down our real estate brokerage services in the second quarter of this year, which generated about $20 million of revenue and negligible profit for 2022. So they really weren't making any money from it, but it was a lot of work. And we've seen in the past that those are the first things to get cut from these companies. The closure of Vacasa's brokerage division highlights the challenges and uncertainties that can arise for real estate agents outside the market volatility. As industry continues to evolve, agents who remain adaptable to open opportunities will best be positioned to thrive. And Michelle, I'm glad you're here. You have Vacasa in your town, right? Were they a real estate brokerage or was it just property management where you are?
Really? Do we really in Boca? Vacasa?
I thought you did. I know it's a vacation rental place there, isn't it?
I don't know. I don't do any vacation rentals, so maybe it's not in my,
Well, usually in whatever area they were in, yeah, Boca Raton.
Really? Let's check that out. As I Google it.
Well, you can't now. They're firing you.
No.
Picasso.
No. VAC.
No, Vacasa.
ASA. Maybe I should have. Yeah, no, wait. They're not there anymore. Never mind. Well, that's interesting because I thought they were there. Yeah, they don't have anything there. Never mind.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, Vacasa is different.
Vacasa is different too.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Are they in Florida? They're in Florida. They are around Boca Raton. They're in Melbourne.
Melbourne.
They have several places along the coast, but not Boca. So
we're not going to be talking like Keith Urban, Melbourne,
West Palm Beach.
Yeah, that's close.
Pompano, Miami.
Yeah,
they have spots.
Not Boca.
Not Boca. So never mind. You can't go. You can't go pick off any of those agents that are displaced.
Oh, well, no, I could.
Do you even allow vacation rentals in Boca?
Well, funny you should ask because we are so Boca. Actually, they do, but because I think the state law kind of overrides their little nuances here. But if your neighbors complain, you're done. You're shut down.
Oh, wow.
Finito. So you have to kind of run it properly.
Interesting.
Pompano, however, is wide open for that. Deerfield Beach, I think West Palm. So that's why
They
their
have
offices
they
are
have
probably
places
where
in
they
all
are.
those.
Yeah. So yes, I could pick off some agents, of course.
Well, with the shrinking of one brokerage, Dan, comes the expansion of another.
Ready for it, Ray? And you know how have you seen how he writes the brokerage name? Have you seen it?
No.
It's all
Oh,
caps with a period. So you have to say Serhant.
Period.
You have to say it aggressively every time. It's all caps with a period.
Oh,
So
is it?
Ryan
Yep.
Serhant's brokerage kicks off national expansion with 6 markets.
Oh.
Serhant, period. I don't know if you have to say the period or not. It's like it's a local store. It's a local brokerage. You guys would know it anyway. So Serhant is the eponymous brokerage founded by real estate TV star Ryan Serhant, and they've launched a national expansion beginning with its entrance into 6 new markets. The company announced on Monday. The first wave of expansion will include Florida. There you go. Pennsylvania, New Jersey, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Connect the Dot, which is also known as Connecticut. The real deal first reported. So Serhant, period, has also brought on a number of local teams across these states to help lead the charge in new markets. Serhant, period, is built by this is a quote from Serhant about Serhant. So this is Serhant talking Serhant. It's built by agents for agents, and our goal has always been to revolutionize the real estate industry and bring the business into the future. Blah blah blah. He also says we are a firm that is empowered by media, committed to best-in-class education and tools, and motivated by forward-looking agents that believe in and exemplify our vision. Expanding our presence nationwide was a natural next step and embodies our entrepreneurial spirit. Serhant.
Interesting. I like so far.
Serhant.
I was pleasantly surprised by Serhant when he came and spoke at our conference. He seemed like a good dude.
Serhant.
Serhant. But I don't. It sounds like whoever, which may have been a friend of mine, so I have to be careful. But it sounds like whoever wrote the mission vision of exactly what they're looking for, just ripped it from every single real estate brokerage that started in the last 5 years.
Remember when we talked about
forward thinking? Yeah, we're looking for forward thinking real estate agents who match the culture, brand, vision, and
that encompass our vision. Blah blah.
Yeah.
I don't want to be disrespectful, so I didn't blah blah the whole thing. But I thought the exact same thing when I was reading it. I'm like, this is just another.
I really I want someone to come out and say, all right, look, here's what differentiates our people. Here's who would not succeed at a real estate brokerage and why we don't want you at all.
Right. Or look, we're not for everyone, but here's who we're going to be for. And this is who we're going to market towards.
It's one of the things that we have the honest conversation with whenever we're talking to somebody that joins our brokerage. Like, here's who it's not going to be good for. So if this is not you, then you should probably go somewhere else.
Serhant sounds like a children's cereal brand. Now with even more fruits and vegetable tastes. Serhant.
You know what? We should take all of the brokerages and put them on a cereal box.
Yeah.
And then describe the brokerage as a cereal and flavors too.
Right. Now with
like which one? Now don't give the answers now. This is a long form project we have to work on, Dan. But who's Fruit Loops? You know? Who is Lucky Charms type, you know, with the plain Jane pieces, and then suddenly you have some beautiful marshmallows that are tasty thrown in the mix.
Right. And then Cheerios, kind of plain, but been around a long time.
Been around a long time. Yeah.
I mean,
but you know, a slight differentiation from those Cheerios is the Honey Nut Cheerios.
Honey Nut Cheerios. Yeah.
Tastes just a little bit better than the old classic that everyone knows about.
Yep. Yeah, and then you got Fruity Pebbles. I mean,
don't forget the Cookie Crisp.
Gotta have Cookie Crisp.
Oh man, Count Chocula, Frankenberry, and Boo Berry, all just seasonal. They show up for a time, then they go away.
Yeah,
we have to do this, Dan. All right, this is really a project. Good. Maybe we'll do a clubhouse and just have open discussion about it, and then get somebody to do the art for us.
Who could be what? Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of cover-ups, that's not really what we were talking about at all, but it's funny if you said Zillow is back in the news, and we've always heard that the cover up cost more than the actual offense, and that's exactly what happened here. And just
by the way, I'm going to really stir things up here before we go. Ready?
Okay, yeah, go.
Milk before cereal. Thank you. That's it.
What?
You put the milk in first.
Only if.
No, you put the milk in first.
I'm going to hold my tongue so I don't offend people. All right. Zillow settles shareholder lawsuit over co-marketing program. So this is a case in which someone wasn't doing anything illegal, but they covered up, intentionally or unintentionally, the investigation of the activity, and that news dropped their market share price, which then made the shareholders sue them. That's what we have here. So the CFPB, I'm just going to summarize the whole article. The CFPB investigated Zillow for the co-marketing program, the thing where your lender buys leads for you. That thing that they say is totally RESTB compliant and okay. They're investigated by the, which is it, CFPB? Yeah, CFPB. And they didn't say anything about this investigation, but when news came out about the 2-year-long investigation at the time, it caused the stock price to drop. And in response to that, the shareholders were like, bro, you should have said something when it first happened so this wouldn't happen. And they could have recovered all that. So they sued them, and Zillow is settling out of court with those shareholders for $15 million. So if you bought stock between November 17th of 2014 through August 8th of 2017, you could receive a payment from the proposed class action settlement.
But it's going to end up being $8 or whatever.
It may not be much when it's distributed over all shareholders. Now they're currently engaged in a ongoing law enforcement investigation of Rocket Homes.
But
to determine if the company has conducted activities that are violating RESTB. I need to give them a call because I have proof that they have. That's interesting.
As long as you're co-branded, aren't you?
I wonder if I could find that lady's phone number. I basically had a client tell me, hey, we're going to go with this other agent because Rocket Homes told us that they would give us money if we went with this other agent.
Oof.
And it was a buyer that knew nothing about home buying process or anything. I'm like, I don't think you can do that.
I don't think that's okay. I think that's
pretty
bad.
Pretty sure that's not okay. So it's on right. I'm trying to figure out if this investigation is still going on or if it's legal, but they claim that the program is legal.
Oh.
I don't see that it's over though. Is the investigation over or not?
I don't think so. It's ongoing. Serhant.
Sorry, guys. He's not named.
Oh, sorry.
I don't want to get that confused. Yeah. Okay. In 2018, it concluded a separate investigation whether Zillow's agent lender marketing program violated the RESTB Act and didn't take any action. That's always interesting when the federal government, they can investigate you, and just because they haven't charged you yet doesn't mean
anything.
That you're not at fault. It doesn't mean that they're okay with the practice. It simply means that at this time, they're not taking action.
Right.
All right. Well, everybody, thanks for joining the show today. It was great for me to get away from everything, so I appreciate you guys being here too. Dan, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you?
D-Ludwig DLUDWIGROCKS, or come find me in California. Just come on over. Let's hang out.
Before the state's destroyed, go talk to him.
Yeah, before our state is destroyed by all the sociopaths.
No, I think the intent there was to talk about real estate, but still. You can find me at Razorback, RAYZORBACK. And don't forget to share the recent reel I did about the tornado damage here. You can also, I think there's a button to support the cause, and it will add it to your profile too, so that you can help raise money. And the goal is for us to get to $10,000, which I know
he means raise, R-A-I-S-E, not raise money, not R-A-Y''S money. No,
I mean, I would love to raise money, but
right, it's going to help raise money.
It's going to help the people that are in need that need some food. So Stay tuned on that. Janice, you asked if we're going to do book club this week. It looks like we'll postpone it just because I couldn't get done everything I needed to before the new book. We're starting ninja selling. So if you guys are interested in ninja selling, send me a DM with the word ninja on Instagram, and that'll sign you up for that.
Right,
all right, guys.
It's your most recent reel, right?
Yeah. It's the most recent reel with the food banks at the bottom, Arkansas Food Bank.
All right,
they're feeding a lot of people in need right now.
Love you guys.
Thank you guys. We'll see y'all next week. Bye.
What's this music? I love it.
Bye, everybody.